It's a chilly day on the farm, but that doesn't mean bad. That just means a little bit cooler, you know? I enjoy it because you can do all this manual work outside and you don't have to worry about sweating. So yeah, I like that. I wanted to talk to you today about a near and dear topic to my heart, and that is how to avoid sadness. And the key to gaining freedom from sadness is Cece, Leroy, good boy Leroy. I've had them in this pasture right here. This brown stuff they don't really eat, but the green grass they've mowed down pretty good for me. I'll show you. This electric fence right here has kept them from going on the other side of the pasture. I'm going to move it so they can mow a little bit of my yard. If you're having a hard time finding things to be grateful for, you know, maybe you feel like, hey, I haven't seen a miracle recently, or there's nothing good going on in my life. You know, if you have a hand like this, look at it. Check it out. You know, humans have been trying to reproduce the finger for a long time. Guess what? Haven't been able to reproduce it perfectly. It's not that I know of. If you know of where they've been able to reproduce it perfectly, let me know in the comments. But to me, fingers are miracles. They're evidence that God exists and that He cares about us, because He's given us 5 on each hand. That's pretty incredible. You know, you don't have to look too far to see the miracles in your life, but you do have to look, because if you don't look, you won't find them. It's a bit chilly for the bees, not a lot of activity. Hopefully they're still in there. My point is not about eyesight, not about fingers, but about looking for things to be grateful for. Everybody has something in their life to be grateful for. And if you're sad about something, find a way to be grateful about that thing. Let's take, for instance, a parent dies. You know, like your mom or your dad passed away. There's nothing that you did, hopefully, that caused it to happen, and they just died. You know, people get old and they eventually die. So, what is it that you can be grateful for with that parent? You know, were they a good parent? Maybe they were a terrible parent and they beat you. Well, think about the lessons you learned that you're not going to carry on to the next generation. Those are things to be grateful for, that you can treat others with respect because you learned what it was like to not be respected. You know, there's always something you can be grateful for, and if you're sad about something, find a way to be grateful about it, and then you will not be sad anymore. Or at least your sadness won't be as deep and cutting as it was before. Here are my cows. Man. Leroy's like, man, I'm going to tear this fence up to get to you all. So I think I'm going to move him. I don't really like this but let's find something to be glad about or to be thankful for about these cows throwing this big fit. One thing I'm glad about is I noticed this before I left. I'm about to take the kids to violin lessons. They're learning violin. It's pretty awesome. I'll see if I can get a little video of it. But anyway, back to these cow things. You know, I'm glad that I found this out before I left, because I've had those calls before from neighbors where they say, hey, Brad, your cows are out, your bull's out, you know, yada yada. So I'm glad that I've been able to figure this out prior to that happening when I'm gone. Another thing I'm thankful for is I actually have feed to put in a bucket to lure them out of that front paddock. That's something to be glad about. There's always some stragglers on the other side of the fence. Come on. Come on, Pippi. One left. Okay, got her. Now, they're on the side of the fence where they're just fighting over the food, not complaining about how there are cows and bulls and stuff on the other side of the fence. You think they're starving, but nope. Just like kids when you bring out a bunch of candy. They get really excited. So as we learned in this video, it is critical, if you want to avoid sadness or you want to get rid of the sorrow or despair, that if you think of things to be glad about and happy about. It's worked for me, and I know it'll work for you. Thanks for joining. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment, and follow us to see what we do with all these pipes. Yeah.